To get the materials for this section, all you have to do is open up a browser and go to superdatascience.com/tableau-advanced. And then if you scroll down here to section 2 groups and sets, then you'll find a PDF document and an Excel file, which is called 1000 startups. So go ahead and download those two, and we will pick it up from here. Alright, now that we have got all the files, let's have a look at the challenge for this section. And there it is, section 2, the challenge. You have been approached by a venture capital fund. The board of directors are currently reviewing 1,000 potentially interesting startups and deciding on which ones they're going to invest in. The criterion for selecting investments for this fund is a combination of high revenue, low expenses, and top growth. And all of those parameters are for 2015. Your task is to assist the board in identifying which businesses represent the best investment opportunities. Sounds pretty exciting, doesn't it? I'm getting excited myself just by looking at this challenge. So let's have a look at the data now. What has the board of directors supplied us with? And I'm going to zoom in here. And the first thing we should notice is that there's two tabs. So tab number 1 looks like it's a description, an overall summary of the companies we're going to be investigating. So right away, let's check that there's 1,000 rows. There is 1,000 rows. Then we've got the names here, the industry they're working in, a description of what they do. And by the way, this is all fake data and it's all made up numbers and names. So if there is any kind of matching to real companies in the world, then it's a complete coincidence. And here we've also got the year founded, employees, state. Looks like all of these are American companies, the city and the metro area. All right, let's look at the second tab now, financials. And in this tab, we've got quite a few columns. Once again, the ID and name. So now we know how to join the two, how to connect the two tabs using this ID column. Then we've got some 2015 financials, revenue, expenses, profit, and growth. Then we've got 14 and 13. And right away, looking at the 2015 numbers and going back to the challenge, we can see that we'll be working with revenue, expenses, and growth. So we won't be using any of those. And we won't be using also profit for 2015. Now, an interesting thing that you might notice, and probably it's a good thing to like investigate your data before you start working with it in Tableau, is that here you've got industry for every single company, and there's different industries here. Now, in our challenge, what it says is the criterion for selecting investments for this fund is a combination of high revenue, low expenses. That's fine, but what is top growth? What does top growth imply? Top growth could be top growth overall among the whole 1,000, or it could be top growth among the peers of the company. So the other companies that are in the same industry as that company. And quite often that is the case with venture capital funds because it is hard to compete again across different industries because there are certain constraints and so on. But also sometimes venture capitalist funds look for top growth overall. Now, this is one of the things that you would go back and you would confirm with the clients. Very important to clarify all of the conditions of your analysis before you proceed with it. But in this case, we're going to assume that top growth means top growth overall, so regardless of the industry. All right, so we're done with that. Let's go ahead and load this data into Tableau. I'm going to bring up Tableau here. And I'm going to connect to an Excel file, 1,000 startups, there it is, perfect. And because we already know how to join in Tableau, we're going to do that right away. We're going to take the overview tab and then we're going to join it to the financials tab. And here you can see that a join has been created automatically on the ID field, which is exactly what we want. Then we can quickly check that everything is okay here. So one of the things that you might want to check is that just take a random name and for a random row, Don Plus, and then just check that it matches to the name from the other tab, Don Plus. Okay, perfect. Now we go to sheet 1. And here what we're going to do is we're going to prepare. So today we're going to quickly learn how to work with folders in Tableau. It's a very, very easy topic. It's pretty much the same as working with folders on your computer. It just helps you organize your measures and dimensions. Because you can see here we have quite a lot of measures and can get quite cluttered. This is actually a pretty simple example. Sometimes you'll have 20, 30 measures and dimensions or even up to 100. So let's see how we can organize our workspace. First of all, we want to right click anywhere on the dimensions or the measures, and instead of group by data source table, select group by folder. And now, instead of seeing where these fields came from, they're all just listed all together. So if I go back, you'll see here that you can see which tab they came from the financials tab or from the overview tab. Same thing here. Now we're going to change to group by folder. And now, first thing we're going to do is remove the fields that are duplicates. So here we already know that we joined on this field, so it is a duplicate. There's no point in having this one. Here we'll hide this one. And here we're going to hide name as well because we know it's the same. Now let's create folders for our financials. We're going to create a folder and we'll call it 2015 financials. And we'll take everything relating to 2015 and we'll drag it into that folder. Now we'll create another folder, 2014 financials. And we'll take everything for 2014 and drag into that folder. And finally, let me make some space, create folder 2013 financials, and drag everything for 2013 to that folder. So what this does is now you can collapse these folders and not worry about them if you don't need the measures, or if you're creating them in dimensions which are in those folders. And we know already we're going to be working with 2015 data, so we can just keep these folders as is. You could have, of course, hidden these fields like we did with the ones up there, but maybe at some point you might require them and you don't want to forget that you actually have them. So the best practice here is just put them in a folder and collapse that folder. So there we go, everything ready. In the next tutorial, we will start working on our analysis and we'll kick off this section. I'll look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, happy analyzing.